Yeah, I really need to do that. August. Oh my God, August the 1st. Damn, we need to look into that. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Heroes of Handheld. This is the podcast dedicated to handheld gaming. We like to talk about everything handheld. So in the past, since the inception of this podcast, we've spoken about Nintendo DS, 3DS, 2DS, 2DS XL, PlayStation Vita, PSP, Samsung Jet, which is one of the first smartphones I ever had. That was a great
Wow.
phone, the Samsung Jet. That was back when like the whole concept of apps was like so new and exciting. Having a Facebook app was like, oh my God, this is like the best thing ever. I love that phone. I had loads of Androids back in the day. And what's so good about Android phones is that they're all so different. Like if you get different types of Android, like no two are really the same. The operating system is similar, but I don't know, they all felt so unique. I'll tell you, the worst phone I ever had was the Google Nexus 1, the first ever Google phone. That was awful. Terrible phone. Anyway, we talk about Android and iPhone as well because they play handheld games. But I'm joined, finally, it feels like I've not spoken to him in a millennia. I'm speaking to the man with a plan, the world's best millennial. It's Chris Pearson.
Do you remember, Colin, when we both had the same phone, there was a feature they had advertised where you could put them back to back to exchange contact info. And we tried it in front of a bunch of people and it just completely didn't work. And now there is a trailer that plays on the televisions, on the movies, which is that exact concept, but they're sharing power. Have you seen that?
Yeah, you share power. Yeah, I saw that. That's Samsung.
We were there at the start, mate. We were there. We were the trend
I do remember that. It was just such a gimmick, wasn't it? Because we were like in the university library or something. You said about this feature. We just couldn't get it to work. We were basically bashing our phones together, and it wasn't doing anything. But it finally did connect, and then it was similar to the old infrared feature on the old mobile phones, where you could like send like I don't know a pixelized photo to each other. What did we even send? What was the point of it? There was no point.
Remember.
God, good times. Now we're both Apple fanboys.
Whee! I
know. How times have changed. So, Chris, how the devil are you? How have you been? What's new?
Good.
What have you been playing? What have you been playing? That's what
I know you spoke about it last week because it was a big guffaw about the pricing and stuff like that. I've actually been playing a surprisingly high amount on Nintendo's Dr. Mario World.
And how much have you paid so far to enjoy this experience?
I haven't put any money in so far.
Nice.
Because I'm still I'm only like 30 or 40 levels in. So I'm still at a point where I can normally clear. I'm just loading it up now, where I can normally clear a level and then you get the heart back. You only really start to notice the lack of hearts when you start messing up the levels. Here's the thing, right? It's a very, very similar thing to almost every, I think, Nintendo mobile game. I can't remember if Animal Crossing had this problem or not. I think it did, which is I think it's great. I think it's really well made. I think it's really visually appealing. I think it's very like it suits mobile. It's really well mastered. But once again, the fact you have to always be online when playing this game is basically killing it for me.
I don't get that. That's weird.
The annoying thing is, like, it's a really good game. It's really good fun, but it's got a very long load time at the start. And if you drop connection for a second when it's loading, so like at home it's fine on Wi-Fi, whatever. But if I'm out on the go, like on a bus or on a train or a plane or a boat or a helicopter or a hovercraft, especially. Especially if the signal goes, you're just fucked. And it's like, it's so frustrating how Nintendo and the team who I can't remember the name of, the people who have made it that aren't Nintendo, the other people. I'm on it. Okay. The fact they've worked together and made this really like stellar, fun app that's like punchy and bubbly, and it's got
NHN, line and NHN.
Like, it's really good fun, and it's really like, and it's also, it's exactly the same. It's like a classic mobile gaming problem where if the game costs £4.99, I would pay money for it, and I would and you could use it online. Like, that would be the end of it. But because they've made it always online, and because they've put in the microtransaction stuff, like I don't think it'll be a forever game for me. It's a shame because it should be. Like it's really good fun, and I didn't play Dr. Mario at all on other consoles. Like this is my first kind of Dr. Mario experience, and like it's so satisfying and challenging and taxing, but the trade-off of the frustrations just almost don't seem worth it, really.
No, I mean I've been playing it a little bit as well after I spoke about it last week, and it actually surprised me the basic concept of the gameplay, because like you, I'd not really played the Dr. Mario games before. Now I can't comment on the other games in the Dr. Mario series, but I could see. I mean, the first few games I was a bit like the first few levels. I was like, oh yeah, it's one of those sort of games like Tetris style gameplay thing. But the more I played, I sort of understood why people get addicted to it. It's definitely one of those. It definitely suits mobile very well. But yeah, it's just. I mean, the discussion I had last week on my lonesome is that this sort of sets a dangerous precedent for Nintendo going forward. I mean, this is probably due to how Super Mario Run didn't do as well as they were hoping, and now they're looking at different avenues for making a profit on their games. Because I don't know how it works with when obviously they haven't created the game, but it's their intellectual property. They obviously get a percentage, I guess, of the money that's put into it. But it shows that it is a weird world in mobile gaming where if people see a price tag on a game, they'll instantly be like, "No, I'm not interested." But they see it's free, and then once they're invested, then they put the money in. Dangerous. So people are concerned, and I mentioned this last week for when we get the Mario Kart mobile game. Are we going to have the same sort of thing? We don't know.
There was a beta for Mario Kart, wasn't there? And I remember reading that it was just getting absolutely rinsed by people not happy with how it played, and it's just like, yeah, it seems a shame, doesn't it? Because the whole thing on Switch and Nintendo's current philosophy is Nintendo Switch games are quite. They're they're quite premium and they don't drop in price. But the trade-off is it's always like a very well polished, put together thing. And I don't know why they can't take that philosophy and apply it to mobile. Like I don't know why they think that the way to do it. I mean, obviously because it makes more money for them, but it's just a shame that I feel like we're a year away from like the classic Nintendo mobile game, and it should be like it could be a space that they are completely owning if they just made like I think smarter decisions.
But Super Mario Run was a really well-made game. It had a quite high level of polish to it, like Nintendo style. But the thing is, it's because of how the pricing structure worked, where you just pay a set fee straight off the bat. It just didn't seem to work. So maybe Nintendo are just looking at other avenues, because at the end of the day, they care about the gamers. They care about making good quality games. But at the end of the day, they're a business. They need to make a profit. They're not going to make a loss. They're going to want to make as much profit as possible. And if this is the most profitable way of doing it, that's what they'll do. But you do wonder if they do go down this route of free to play or freemium game for Mario Kart, Mario World Tour, whatever it's called. You do wonder how it will work, how you play a certain amount of levels and you lose energy each race you do, and you have to pay to get more energy, or you have to wait like 24 hours. That would be so frustrating if they did that. Like, it might even be like, maybe if you don't finish first, you lose a life or health or something like that.
Oh god, it could be all sorts, couldn't it?
Yeah, but I hope it's not one of those games where it's sort of like it's like very basic Mario Kart concept where they're trying to get new gamers in, so it's not the full Mario Kart experience where it's just like sort of hold your hand, like those sort of games where you can't really lose by that big a margin, because if you're so far behind, the races in front will slow down so you're not so far behind. I don't know, we'll wait and see on that. But yeah, Mario World, I will keep at it and see how long it takes for me to reach a paywall with Dr. Mario. Well, but no, I'm pleasantly surprised by it. Can I quickly mention a game I've been playing? I did mention.
Yeah, sure.
I've been continuing to play Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled on Nintendo Switch. It's just fantastic. I played it on handheld mode. I played it on the telly, and it's just great. It plays so well. It transfers really well from handheld to docked and docked to handheld. Plays really well. It looks nice. The sound engineering, the sound design in it is great. The maps are just great, really well reimagined. It's just the same game you know and love. I have played online a little bit, and it's a bit questionable at the moment. Originally, I did struggle to find any other players, but then I did find some, and because people have sort of paid, they've used their coins to unlock the most well, I wouldn't say the most powerful, but the highest unlocks. There's quite a steep in terms of how good other players are, other racers are. It's quite steep because you'll get into a game and people are just ridiculously good and they're miles ahead of you. But it is brutal where people strategically place their TNTs and their potions like on a drop right at the end. There's one game where I was first and there's like 4 of them right at my ass, and then they all destroyed me. I got a potion as I was going over a ramp. I got hit by one of the potions and fell down. Then I got hit by a missile. Then I got hit by one of those big orb things that gets the person in first, and I finished last in the end. So that was brutal. But I'm still enjoying it. I still, the loading times are very questionable. Still, it does take a long time to go from one race to another and from the end of a race to the screen where you're on the podium. But no, it's great. It's brilliant. It's everything I could have wanted, and I'm very addicted to it. I've finished the main campaign, the adventure mode, and I'm just going back and collecting the CTR coins. And I'm actually discovering secret routes in the maps I didn't know about back in the day, which is really cool, actually. Like secret
That's
routes,
really cool.
which is nice. But yeah, really enjoying it, and it's probably under 30 quid now. You can get it, and it's worth it for the entertainment you'll get out of it. Racing games are racing games, and they're not normally my thing. But with Crash Team Racing, it's just that you can never relax in that game, because if you're at the back, you get the better power-ups or the better weapons when you hit the crates. So you could be at the back, and then you'll get like a Ooga Ooga mask, and then you'll just speed to the front, or you'll get like one of the orbs that like kills everyone as it goes forward, and then you'll be more towards the front. So it's so strategic, and it's really high end and very white knuckle. It's very nerve-wracking, but yeah, it's great. I'm enjoying it. It's very fun.
Good.
But we should move on to some news, because typically the podcast released last Tuesday, and on Wednesday morning we had an announcement of a brand new Nintendo Switch. Typically, and obviously it's been a week since this news came out, so everyone already knows about this, so I'll very briefly touch on this. But we had an announcement of Nintendo Switch Lite, which actually has no Switch in it whatsoever. There's no switching in this Switch. It's just a handheld device. It's basically a Nintendo Switch, slightly smaller, and it's all handheld all the time. You can't dock it. There's no Joy-Cons. The controls are built into the actual screen, so it's basically like it's Nintendo going back into the handheld market again, which they're amazing at. It looks very nice. There's 3 different colors. Not much else to really say about it, to be honest. It's just the Nintendo Switch you know and love, and it's it's just a handheld version of it. But it was interesting. The video that Nintendo released last week, and I always forget the name of the chap who it was. It was just Yoshiaki Kazumi. Kazumi. Is that how you say it?
I think so.
Pronunciations. The general producer of Nintendo Switch, they released a video, and it was quite funny. What I love about Nintendo when they announce things, they are brutally honest. Like other companies, if they were announcing not a downgrade version, but like a more basic version of a console they've already released, they would not focus on the negatives. They would just focus on the positives. And it was really interesting that they were very clear about the fact you can't connect it to a TV, you can't dock it, there's no Joy-Cons anymore, and everything like that, which is really cool. And they even said games you can't play on it. So it was actually quite refreshing to see the honesty that they had in their video, which was nice. And it was quite funny, actually, because in the video, it's a charming video. Nintendo are very well known for their charming announcement videos. There's a bit where he's in like a fake house, a big white house, and he leaves the house, and he looks up at the sun and blocks his eyes. And then he has his Nintendo Switch Lite in his hand. And people thought that meant, because people struggle to play Nintendo Switch outside because of the glare from the sun. And people thought, oh my God, is this them hinting at the fact they've sorted this? But no, they haven't at all. It's still exactly the same. So it's almost like he was referencing the fact that you can't play Nintendo Switch outside. But it's also funny in the extended trailer where they had all the friends like playing out, and they're like all these cool people playing Nintendo Switch at skate parks and things like that. It was quite funny how people like go out and socialize and go to like skate parks and like amazing like fireworks displays on boats, and they're all just sat there on video games. That was quite funny to watch.
I love Nintendo in their Switch adverts. Always put in a bloody bit where everyone's like, you've got a Switch, I've got a Switch. I've never sat in a place that was busy, like active. I've sat and played it in public. I've sat and played it in like, cafes or at train stations or whatever. I've never sat and played it like at a climbing wall. It's just nonsense, isn't it?
Wasn't there one bit where they're on a boat and there's like fireworks going off behind them, yet they're all in the Nintendo Switch? It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it?
But no, I think this is probably aimed, I don't know if you agree, at a younger market with just the handheld elements with it.
Yeah, it's the 2DS XLing, isn't it? It's a budget, more durable version that you can throw in your bag and that younger people can have, and also people on a budget can have. I'm in a group chat with a couple of people, and we were talking about this, and one guy lives in Asia, and he was saying that a big thing in some kind of East Asian countries is in the house, it is kind of traditional, and the setup is that families will only have one television, and that's a big part of why this can't connect to the dock, is because when the adults are in, they have priority on the television, but the kids can still play through this version that's kind of a looser, cheaper version because it can't connect to the TV.
No.
I think it looks good. I mean, it
does it very nice. It's a very nice.
It's nice form function. It looks very durable. If I was on a super budget, I'd go for it. But I mean, the fact you can't plug it into the TV as well is a shame, because that is such a key selling point, and I don't really know why they would get rid of that.
Yeah, it does seem weird because the whole concept of the Nintendo Switch was that it was a hybrid, and it was unique in the fact that you can go from handheld mode to docking it to a TV instantly, and it does sort of feel like it's not really even a Nintendo Switch console, to be honest with you, because that's the whole point of it being called a Switch, is that you can switch between the two factors. But no, you can't do that. It's just basically a flat 3DS. Or a flat DS, basically, like their typical handheld devices. I mean, it makes sense, I guess. People weren't too surprised about this. And as we said, it did look quite nice. It's slightly smaller, and there will be a market for this. I'm sure it'll sell well, and it's slightly cheaper as well. So,
for sure. Yeah. There's a really good comparison table doing the rounds on Reddit, which was put last week, which compared the OG Nintendo Switch to the Switch Lite. And it was put up by user Stinky Fish Sauce. So congrats on the research for that. Nice. But basically, a couple of other key things to just mention is that it's got an adjusted D-pad on the left-hand side, which is meant to be a better kind of form over function. A better feeling D-pad, because a lot of people have complaints about D-pads on the original Switch. The Joy-Cons are obviously attached. It doesn't have HD rumble. It doesn't have adaptive brightness, so if you take it outside, you'll have to adjust it yourself. Not compatible with Labo, not compatible with Switch Dock. A better battery life by about half an hour, and it's about $100 cheaper than the original Switch, and it releases on September the 20th in the States, so keep them peeled for that. But that's not the only new Switch, is it, Colin?
No, they weren't satisfied with one new console. They wanted to release another one. So what's the next one? What's the next Switch in the Switch family?
So this is it's been a little bit of a sneaky reveal from Nintendo, because a lot of people have been wondering if a Switch Pro is on the way, kind of in the vein of sort of how Apple do iPads and that sort of thing, or even the 3DS, the new Nintendo 3DS, which had that kind of increased processor and stuff. This is basically a new Nintendo Switch. This is Tech Radar reported this, but other places as well. A new Nintendo Switch is arriving, which has basically no visual changes, just a much chunkier battery life. I mean, I don't know about you. I've never really had an issue with the battery life on my Switch, but anyway,
never had an issue with it. Not even.
The new model is promising 4.5 to 9 hours of battery life, as opposed to the old one. Yeah, so they're saying with Zelda, for example, it's gonna be, I think they said 5.5. The Tech Radar website is really slow on my computer, so I'm struggling. Yep, so 5.5 hours on the new version, whereas you're getting it 3 hours in handheld mode on the old version.
Oh, Chris, you're still there, man. Well, it looks like Chris's internet has dive bombed, so let's continue to talk about the new Nintendo Switch. So yeah, as Chris was saying, another new Nintendo Switch model was announced today, actually. So thank God we're recording on another Wednesday. But the only difference is the battery life. Battery life is quite a bit better. The original one was between 2.5 and 6.5 hours, but the new one's 4.5 to 9 hours. So it's quite a big jump. And obviously, it depends on the sort of game you're playing. They did give an example where they used obviously a big, powerful game like The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild. It will last up to 5.5 hours on the new version, where only 3 hours on the older model. So yeah, it's basically, it looks like that is the only real difference on this Switch. People were, as Chris said, were looking at. We're thinking that Nintendo were close to dropping information on a Nintendo Switch Pro, which they do quite a lot, with like the ultimate version of a console where it's more powerful, more features, and there's more bells and whistles and things like that. But we're still waiting on that, and I'm sure that will come in the near future. But it's cool that they've released details of 2 new Switches in quick succession. It's a surprise how quickly these have both come out. And it is a surprise that there's no other features apart from the fact it has an extra battery life. You'd think there'd be something a bit different, but apart from that, you would not know it was any different to the original one. But as Chris said and I said, I've never had an issue with the battery life whatsoever. I have it off the dock quite a lot, playing it in handheld mode. And I'd probably say, thinking back to the games I've played in the past with the battery life, the biggest battery drainer was probably Skyrim, which is not a surprise because that is a huge game. I think that gave me a couple of hours, which is fine. With the Nintendo Switch, for me, the main joy of having it in the handheld mode is that you can play it in bursts. You're not just sitting down in front of a telly playing a game, just focusing solely on that. You can put it down whenever and then pick it up again. So this is interesting. It's always cool to have these new consoles come out, and we'll give you more information as it comes out. And I'm just looking to see when this will be dropping. I believe it's pretty soon, around August time. I can't find the date here, but we'll find the information for you. The price is going to be staying the same. That's not going to change. So that's another thing to bear in mind. You're getting better battery life for the same price. So that is all really cool. Right, so Chris is still struggling with ye old internet, so I'm going to move on to the final news story. And looking at the meme, because we have this Google Drive, this Google Doc, where me and Chris add the articles we want to talk about each week, then we will work through them. And Chris has put a meme in there, which is making me think that he's not as into this game as I am. And that is Harry Potter Wizards Unite from the boys, our fans, our favorite people at Niantic, famous for Pokemon Go, which me and Chris are really big on. So more news on Wizards Unite. I've been playing it quite a lot more over the past week. In fact, it's getting to a point now I am going between Wizards Unite and Pokemon Go, but really now I'm making my way through the new research task for Pokemon Go, but I'm only really loading up now to get the streak with catching a Pokemon and also spinning a Pokestop. In terms of my focus now, it's actually moving more towards Harry Potter Wizards Unite. And what really interests me about it, I'm a massive fan of the Harry Potter universe anyway, but it's just the fact it feels like there's so much more to discover in this game. There's a lot more depth to it, in my opinion. A lot of people have said it's a bit crammed and overcrowded and convoluted, but I actually like all the different features they've got on there, all the different traces, all the different registry pages and the events they've got. And talking of the events, very recently we had the first ever Brilliant event, which is where they have rare traces that appear in the world and foundables. Foundables are what you have to collect. I say collect is what you have to capture in Wizards Unite. You find them on the map as you walk around. They have the exclusive ones that only appear during the events, and then you get special tasks as well you have to do, and you get more XP and more gear and things like that. So quite a few things have been announced for Wizards Unite over the past week or so. The first is that we're going to be having another Brilliant event, and it actually started yesterday, and this is going to run for 2 weeks, and this is called Potter's Calamity. So the story is with this is that things relating to Harry Potter are appearing in the Muggle world. So there's a younger Harry Potter who's being chased by a Dementor. His trunk, Hedwig, his robes, his socks, his tie, they're all appearing in the Muggle world. For some reason, the Calamity, which is the main focal point of the Wizards Unite game, has focused on Harry Potter, and there's a bit of a confusion as to why this is, which is really interesting. But it means that these are appearing more regularly in the world, and you can tell when it's a brilliant event foundable when you're looking on the map, because they have a purple hue to them. There's a big purple beam of light on them as well. So there's a load of ones here. So for week 1, which started yesterday and ends on the 23rd of July, it's obviously loads of Harry Potter related foundables and other features. There's event only 7k port keys you can pick up. Obviously the brilliant foundables. There's brilliant rune stones as well, which help you in wizard challenges at fortresses, and also special tasks as well, which earn you more XP. And you can earn up to 15 restricted section books, which give you more pages for your registry. You can earn a green sock with a Snitches sticker, a Marauder's map frame, a messy hair lens for your ministry ID, and you can earn up to 50 coins. So there's 50 gold, sorry. So there's lots of different things that you can.
People...
Jesus Christ!
Hello.
Jesus Christ, you made me jump on my skin.
For people who don't play the game, is 50 gold a lot or not really?
It is quite a lot in terms of what you can earn from rewards, because if you're doing the daily tasks, you earn about 10 coins a day. So it's quite a lot. It's about 5 days worth of grafting there. But it's actually a really interesting event, and it's going over across 2 weeks. So for the first week, the foundables include Hedwig, as I said, a young Harry Potter on a broomstick, and socks and robes and things like that. For the second week, we haven't actually got details of what's going to be included in the second week yet. A special registry page in your registry is there, but it's all blank at the moment. But it looks like it could be like books and quills and things like that. But it's very interesting. I do like these events, and it's interesting they've announced this one so quickly after the last one, which shows how popular they were. So yeah, and there's different task levels, special tasks as well. It's a bit like the research tasks in Pokemon Go. The higher up you go, the more XP and the more special stuff you get. So that's all very interesting as well. Actually here, it's listing all the stuff you foundable. So I'll just quickly list them. It's Harry's Weasley's jumper, Brilliant Hedwig, Harry's school trunk, mismatched socks, his Tri-Wizard Cup uniform, and Captain Harry from the Quidditch team as well. It is important to note that for the first week, you can only actually get Harry and Hedwig in the wild. All the other ones you have to get by other means. The trunk you can only get from 7k port keys. The socks you can only get from the the tasks that you have to complete. Same with the uniform as well. That's only available if you complete the tasks. And you can only get the Weasley jumper by taking part in brilliant fortress challenges. So you have to use one of your brilliant rune stones when you're in the fortress, and then that's one of the rewards you get is the Weasley jumper. So if you want to try and finish the registry page, it's quite a lot to do there, and there's quite a lot of fragments you need for each one as well, which means how many times you have to catch it before it appears in your registry. So that'll keep people very much on their toes with that. We haven't got details of the second week stuff yet, but that'll probably come out over the next few days, which is really cool. And the other thing to talk about with Wizards Unite, and this is very exciting, the first ever community day for Harry Potter Wizards Unite goes live this weekend for 3 hours, and we're all very excited about this. Cannot wait. So the features for this, well, firstly, let's just say it goes live in Europe, because we only care about Europe, between 10 a.m. and 1 p.m. So it's quite an early start for this one. Usually it's in the afternoon. And during this day, dark detectors, which is what you put in inns, and then it attracts more foundables to your location. They'll last double the time, which is similar to what it does in Pokemon Go. And there will also be a free store pack that you can get, and that gives you 50 spell energy and a singular Buffalo's Brain elixir. I can't pronounce these words. Basically, you get a potion for free, which gives you 3 times XP as well. So it's cool. So you're going to get more Hogwarts School traces appearing in the wild, more confoundables, 3 times XP, 50 spell energy, which is really handy because the spell energy goes down so quick when these special events are on, and dark detectors last double the time as well. So I will report back next week as to how the first community day goes. I know the Pokemon Go do them regularly now, and they're normally pretty good. So hopefully the Harry Potter one will be good as well. So very exciting. A good time to start picking up and playing Wizards Unite, in my opinion. Chris, are you still playing Wizards Unite? And, well, yeah.
I got to say, I find you very interesting, Colin.
Oh, thanks.
Listening to that makes me realize just how not interested I became in Wizards Unite. Like when you start going about dark defectors and inns and brilliant events and Mr. Muggle juggles Buffalo elixir for the brain. Give me Armored Mewtwo. Give me the new Pokemon Go research task. Give me, hey, probably this time next week. Well, no, because we're off, but the week after, there's big rumors of Team Rocket coming to Pokemon Go.
Ooh.
People have been finding stuff in the code. So next time we're on air, we'll be talking about that.
Hey, I'm still playing them both. I'm still playing them both. But over the past week,
you can't properly play Pokemon Go and pretend to play Harry Potter. You pick one or the other. You choose a side. You take red pill or blue pill. You go with Morpheus, or you go back to your shit job at the coding place.
There was actually the Matrix game, wasn't there? Where if you chose was it the blue pill, which makes it go back to normal, or is it the red pill? I always forget which one it is. But it's funny, like the first thing you do in that game is you have to choose which pill. And if you choose the one where it goes back to normal, the game just ends. It's basically you like waking up and then the game ends and they have to start all over again.
Amazing.
So that's good. It's a shame you're not as in. I mean, why are you not as into it as Pokemon Go?
Because I find the lack of I just have a real lack of interest in the random events that happen. Like it's missing for me that thing that makes Pokemon so good, which is that desire to catch them all, because I don't care about Hufflepuff student is trapped in a forest, or like I'm not connected to those things. So I don't feel like there's any sorry, just move my screen. I don't feel like there's any reason to go out and hunt them, and it's so battery intensive as well. And because there's no adventure sync, I can't like check back in with it and see what's going on because nothing will have changed.
Yeah, there's still no update on the adventure sync for Harry Potter, which is really surprising. You thought that would be something they'd implement pretty much straight away, but that'll make a load of difference when that's in there because it takes so long to bloody unlock the port keys. So annoying. But you have to have the game open to do it, and when you're doing a 10k one, it's just so annoying. So hopefully they get that sorted straight away. I mean, I was initially like you. I was finding like, I'm getting the Ravenclaw student stuck in a bit of water, or I'm seeing a Sneasel running around. But the more I played it and the more interesting things I found, like I've had a few severe encounters recently, which is basically similar to getting a rare Pokemon come up in Pokemon Go. And the thrill, Chris, the absolute thrill. The best one I had was Dumbledore being chased by an Inferi, which was that's like severe to the highest degree. That's like one of the rarest ones you can get. And oh my god, I didn't get it because it ran away. But it was exciting to see it. But no, the more I play, originally I was like you, but the more I've played, the more I'm really getting into it, and I'm really intrigued to see how the community day goes on Saturday. Hopefully it goes well. I mean, there's a large community of people playing it. I'm part of a lot of Reddit groups and Facebook groups all talking about it, and it is really interesting. Like people are really, I'm into it, but people are really obsessed with it. Like some people are already at like level 40, which is insane, considering the game's only been out like a month, just over a month. But yeah, it's still really cool, and it's weird how much advertising they're doing for it as well. Like when I've been to the cinema recently, they've had adverts at the cinema for it. And I've also seen massive billboards advertising Wizards Unite as well. So they really are pushing it a lot. There's a lot more marketing behind it than they have with Pokemon Go. It'd be interesting to know what the numbers are, like, how many active players there are compared to Pokemon Go, whether there was a large drop-off when it first came out. Would be interesting to see those facts and figures, but yeah, I don't think we'll see that anytime soon. It's a shame that you're not as invested because it's fun.
Yeah, maybe I'll come back to it if I get if I give up on Pokemon Go. But I'm so properly hooked back into Pokemon Go that I don't know if I have time in my life for both.
It is difficult juggling the two, I must say. It's not the easiest thing to do. So yeah, that's all my news I've got. Have you got anything else you want to share?
That's it from me. I think we're off next week, but back the week after.
We will be. It's always the same every summer, isn't it? We always find it difficult because life. But we'll be back in 2 weeks' time. Will it be September then? What's it now? It's the
it'll still be July.
Not September. That'd be amazing if we skip for 2 months. Jesus Christ. It'll still be July, so it won't be August yet. So Soon it'll be August though. Right, so that's all we've got time for this week. So it's time to say farewell. A bit like what Bear does in Bear in the Big Blue House, where he goes up to the roof and he sings to the moon. They sing that happy song about, goodbye and how they had a great time. We're not going to sing, but Chris is going to tell you how you can get in contact with us if you so desire.
You can email heroesofhandheld@gmail.com. You can write to us on Twitter by searching our Handheld Podcast. You can go to our website, heroesofhandheld.wordpress.com. You can find us on Facebook by searching for Heroes of Handheld. Crushed it.
That's lovely.
Thank you very much.
Brilliant. Well, thank you for listening, everybody. We'll speak to you in a couple of weeks' time. Until then, enjoy playing your handheld gaming devices. Bye. Oh, enjoy the community day for Wizards Unite.
Oh, yes. Colin, tweet about that when you do it. I want to know how it goes.
I definitely will if I remember. I didn't remember the events taking place because I'm really bad for that. Anyway, bye, everyone. Bye.
Bye.